Stephen here, and this is episode 6 of the Essence of Coding course. And in this episode, I want to talk about having multiple variables. So I'm going to connect these two because now we're going to deal with lines of code that are sequenced together. This is a program with two lines in it. And you can have multiple variables, so I'll name this one y. So now we have set x to 10 and set y to all of this stuff. Now, not only this, but you can have variables that interact with each other. So for example, now that we have x set to 10, y can be set to be in terms of x. It might have an expression that x is a part of. Somewhere inside the nested expressions, there might be a variable instead of a value. And it's very, very, very common. And so we're going to make some cards out of these two scenarios. First, make an execution card for this, where the computer will start by executing the first line. And we've already seen this. You actually already have a card where the computer executes a line like this. So the fact that there's a line afterwards doesn't change what will happen. We're going to draw that t-chart. X will be set to 10. And then when the computer's done executing a line, it stops looking at that line and starts looking at the next line. So now the computer is looking at this line, and you've actually seen the computer executed a line like this before. The only difference is now it's the variable y. And so just like before, it's going to look to see if there's anything inside this line it needs to execute first. The answer is yes. There's a big old expression with some nested sub-expressions as well. And it will evaluate the sub-expressions. So this becomes 4, this becomes 10, and then it will evaluate the main expression to 14, and so that all becomes 14. And now that it has fully evaluated that expression, it will assign it or write it to y. So y becomes 14. And this is what you should have for this execution card. So make an execution card where this is the front and the back is this. Now make an execution card for this one. Here, this line is the same, and the computer will do the same thing. So you draw the t-chart, x gets set to 10, easy. Now here, after the computer's done with this line, it looks at this line. And here it starts to do the same thing. It says, okay, there's a big old expression here. I'll evaluate the sub-expression to 4. And then it starts to evaluate this sub-expression, and it does something interesting. It sees that there's a variable here. And so what it does is it references its memory to see what the value is. Value is 10 already, so it sticks a 10 in there. So that x is no longer an x or a variable, it becomes a 10. And then the computer will finish evaluating that expression. So it says 10 plus 4 is 14. That becomes 14. And then it's 14 plus 4, so that whole thing becomes 18. So this entire expression evaluates or crunches down to 18. And that is what gets stored or written into y, 18. So make an execution card for this, and then make a simple vocabulary card, just a regular vocabulary card for this block right there. The front should be this block, this x block right there, and the back should be a variable read or a variable get. So you have a card earlier where you stored this as a flashcard, and this was a variable write or a variable set. This is a variable get. So these are the two things that computers can do to their memory. They can put stuff in and take stuff out. And when you put it in, it's a set, and when you take it out, it's a read or it's a get. So 3 cards here, 2 executions, and 1 vocabulary.